Natalie Toureau, and so happy that you joined us on this beautiful hot Tuesday. So stay cool. That's the key. Stay cool as you can. Before we get started, we have to acknowledge our sponsors. SilverStateClub.com. If you want affordable dental care, comprehensive quality, go to SilverStateClub.com and make sure you sign up today. Because especially if you don't have dental insurance, sometimes people don't have dental insurance. So I said, join the club, all in the club. Also, Las Vegas Clark County Library District, Southern Nevada Water Authority, Black Image Magazine, and Power 88 KCEP. Hey, I gotta stop just for a second and just say, did you see BET Awards last night? It was off the chain. Stevie Wonder. I mean, just everybody was there. I used to work on the BET Awards when I lived in Los Angeles, and it is just really has come up, so to speak, and so many of our favorite celebrities and notables and everyone was in the house. So it was just a wonderful it was a long show, Joe. I know I just asked you. I said, Joe, did you see it?
I only got to see some clips, but I was really excited to see that they added more comedic flares.
Yes.
You just said, I think that's Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder.
Talking about he spent countless hours watching and editing the videos.
Yeah.
It was just a really cute comedic.
It was, and especially when Kevin Hart was saying, because he would, they were talking, it was Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx was on the stage, and he was saying, I know I'm taking long, but he had to thank so many people, and then Steve came up with the award. Here's your award, kind of like trying to say, okay, that's enough. And he said, Steve's walking with me, and with holding this award, walking across the stage. So it was just really hilarious. It was just a really good show. I commend the BET family, the BET Awards for putting on just a wonderful show. Now, talking about a show, we have a great show for you today. I am so excited because we have once again Mr. Dr. Mai Tran, and with SilverStateClub.com. And hello, Dr. Tran, how are you?
Morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doctor's in the house, so get by your phone. You have some questions, so give us a call. 702-647-3688. That's 702-647-3688. We do talk back. So any questions as it pertains to your dental care and insurance, and it's just all these things wrapped up in one, like we don't have enough to think about, but this is very important because we're talking about living a long, long life, right, Dr. Tran? Yes, and I think that's what it's all about. And what I love, because I'm a patient of Silver State and Smiles and Forever Smiles, and I tell you that you guys just stick with us. I mean, you just stick with us. You call. It's just really on point. I just have to congratulate just the whole team over there because you guys are really persistent on, hey, isn't it time for your cleaning? Isn't it time for this? Because if you let those things progress, then it can be a problem, right, Dr. Tran?
Yeah, I think for us, we like to think of ourselves as like the gentler version of AI. We kind of gently remind you, to take care of yourself. Because currently with, so much happening, you kind of forget, about yourself, taking care of your kids, taking care of just, your significant others. You just really forget to take care of yourself. So that's for us, we just want to remind you that, you have to take care of you.
Yes.
So.
And so much goes on in that mouth. I was, when I was listening to even Adrienne speak, she was saying, Kim, people that have plaque in their mouth, that plaque can really go into all areas of the body. So when you don't get those cleanings, when you don't take care of those cavities, when you don't do certain things, it can be an issue. So we want to make sure you take care of it. So again, go to SilverStateClub.com. I know we have a phone number. I don't have the phone number before me, but I know if we have I know it was a new number that we had, but again, if you go to SilverStateClub.com, you can call them. There's 8 different locations all over the valley, and that is inclusive of Henderson and just everywhere. So again, I just encourage you again to call 702-780-0232, and again, that's 702-780-0232. But Dr. Tran, you you are doing so much, and I'm very excited about the nonprofit that's being established. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, because you have helped people without any pay whatsoever, just because you love what you do, and it's something to be said about having a passion for what you do, and it's great that you reach out and you help people in this entire community.
Well, I think, for healthcare, for us with our nonprofit, we want to really focus on getting people back to health. And unfortunately, when people when we go back to the mouth, it's a whole universe there.
Yeah.
It's a whole environment with, the good and the bad bacteria. And when the bad bacteria wins, they fortify themselves in your teeth.
Right.
And so, once that happens, it becomes, your self-care becomes virtually impossible.
Mm-hmm.
So, for us, I want to get people healthy. I think, with that health, they become more confident, because really, nothing is more important when you're not healthy and you have to get healthy. Once you are healthy, now you have the whole world to, conquer, I say, or do
Right.
everything that you need to do. So, with me establishing that organization is really to help the people that it's too late, right? So,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. So we want to help get healthy. And so often people kind of detach themselves from their mouth versus their body. They like the teeth, like it's a separate entity almost, but it really is not. Things, anywhere something could get into, and we putting stuff into our mouth, into our teeth. The sugar, look at me bad with Starbucks here. I don't see you ever drinking coffee, but I'm just saying that. But those kind of things that affects our teeth, and so often we want to just glamorize the teeth. Well, I just want to get it white, but are the teeth healthy? Where are we going wrong with? I just want white teeth. I don't care that it's. How do you make it white?
Well, I think there's two aspects I always focus on. One, the mind. If in the mind you're thinking and you're watching shows, you're looking at TikTok and you're looking at all these things, you're like, hey, I think I want that, right? And then there's the body aspect. The body is more faint. It tells you subtly. It kind of talks to you, but if you're not listening with your mind, your mind's going to tell you to do something when your body's telling you the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, when you become a patient, we establish the mind, like how does, certain things work. And then that way we now talk about we can fix the body. Mm-hmm. So it's a two-prong aspect to be able to get you healthy. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, the program that I developed, which is my goal. I said you have to be healthy within 90 days with our program.
I love that. I love that. And he is so determined. I mean, I so admire you, not only as a doctor, but as an entrepreneur. You have your hands in everything. And that's what Enterprising People is all about, to inspire you also, to just capture all the passions you have. And you can do it. But how are you able to do so many things, Dr. Tran? You're an investor. You're an inventor. You have done. You actually, you have Airbnbs all over. I mean, you do so many things, and at a fairly young age, you have mastered business and to organize all of the business entities that you operate. Of course, being a doctor, that's your passion. It's like, I had great fun today. I did this, I did that. You get so excited when you're actually practicing your passion, which is dentistry, but you also have your hand in business. And if you had to round it down, how are you successful with handling all of these different entities?
Well, I think I was just, blessed with the ability to identify, problems and then find solutions to them. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the solutions that we have, we can solve that with great people around me.
Right.
Like yourself.
Thank you.
So, for me, it's once you find the problem, having great people around you come up with the solutions together,
Mm-hmm.
Unity is kind of what I focus on, because everything that I do, everything that I touch, I do it with people, you know, and
Yeah.
I think that's the very important aspect, you know, because they're fun to be around.
Yes.
And then the project and the passion comes, you know, in all different arenas. So that's why I kind of end up having my hands on everything, because I find, you know, people that have such great passion for certain projects that you know, they might be lacking some certain skills, or they may be lacking some financial
Right.
skill set that we can kind of supplement. But together, I think that's where, you know, the success would come.
Yeah, yeah, and that is a humanity aspect. Is that to just hone in on those people that are good people. Sometimes you can't find good people, and you make a mistake, but then you have to step back as an entrepreneur, reevaluate, and then go on your pursuit. But really, that takes courage. It takes a lot of courage. I know Dr. Maya Angelou. She taught me when I was at Spelman, and she would say the first virtue, the first characteristics you have to have in this world is being courageous. And what stimulated your courage to say, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be an inventor, I'm going to help humanity, I'm going to do all of these entities. Where'd you get that courage from?
Well, I think, you know, for me, I focus more on the clarity of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be, you know, paying attention to everything in extreme detail. And with that, you know, paying attention, you find the you know, the strength and weaknesses of certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So with clarity and with just focus, that's how I'm able to just make, you know, the right decision. You know, I'm not saying every decision is right, because you know, you make a choice, and then sometimes it is the wrong choice,
Yeah.
but you learn from it.
Right.
And so, you know, I always think, like, you know, courage is something that you want to be planning, you want to be practical. At the same time, you have to take those types of risks to be able to identify, you know, the right and wrong things to do. So I just focused on the immediate problem and solving that. And then you end up, you know, really surprising yourself where you know, you land. Really, when I started my first dental practice, I was just, you know, worried about saving money. So I laid tiles down with my father, and then just treating one patient at a time. And then, you know, that was my main focus. All of a sudden now we're at, and we have, like, you know, 20 locations and all sorts of stuff.
I
So
know.
I think you don't, like, really have to look at where you want to be. You just have to look at, like, the immediate, you know, problem and try to solve that problem.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Because so often people think the risk factor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I could lose everything. This is all I have. I don't want to lose it. Listen, we don't want you to lose any teeth either. So give them a call, 702-780-0232, 780-0232. Ask about the silverstateclub.com and get it. And really, I tell you, it's about joining the club, because it's affordable, and you can manage. Your family members can be a part of that. It's just a wonderful, wonderful plan. And even if you do have dental insurance, this is supplementary. You can supplement with the silverstateclub.com. So we're pushing that. But again, the doctor's in the house. So if you have a question about your dental care, your teeth, he's right here. And I'm telling you, he is by far the best. And I'm telling you, I think I have the credentials, because I grew up here in Las Vegas. The first black dentist that was here was Dr. McMillan. He used to be my dentist when I was growing up. And so I've seen a lot of different dentists being in Las Vegas all my life. So Dr. Tran is here, and he really, truly is someone that can help you with whatever your dental needs are. And I love that you have the specialist right in one bill. You don't have to go nowhere else. You say, oh, you need this, you need that. It's right there. You actually manufacture the teeth. I did a tour. I did a tour where you're actually making teeth, and the teeth are right there. So it's not like a big waiting period, because a lot of times people have to wait. Oh, you have to come back next month or in 2 months. But tell us about how you said, I'm going to consolidate.
Well, I think the customization, especially, you know, with each patient, because, you know, their body's unique to them. And so for me, having that, being able to have access to that immediately really, beneficial to my patients because we're able to give everyone their unique smile that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of important to me to have.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have a lot. I know a lot is going on in this world, but we do have a lot to be thankful for, a lot to smile about. When I come into the station, I see Joe and Jessa and Angela. I mean, they make me smile because they're just good people, and I love that. And anybody that knows me knows I love to be around good people. I think that's the only thing I do. But again, call us. The doctor's in the house, 702-647-3688. That's 702-647-3688. We do talk back. So if you have any questions as it pertains to your dental care or just being an entrepreneur, you have a specialist here today that is winning. Let me tell you, he's winning. He's in development. He's in nonprofit development. He has dental practice, over 20 dental practices throughout really the whole country. And you're just doing it. And every time I think about you, you motivate me because I said, God, if Dr. Tran could do this, I could do this. I could do this, because you need those examples. I was wondering who are those. I know your father's a big one. He wrote a book, but who was your biggest example of not only being a doctor but an entrepreneur?
Well, I think, for me, just great people doing great things. My grandfather, he was the governor of Vietnam, and he just, was just wanted to make a stand and say, hey, we want, democracy in our country.
Wow.
So it's a tough time during Vietnam when you say that, especially when, the U.S. kind of pulled out of that, and then the communists kind of took over, and it's kind of so for me, people that have a purpose and that believe in something, really passionately for the right thing for humanity, that's the part where I look at that first. And then the success of, when we're talking about, money and things like that all of that will come, I felt like. So it's never been an important aspect for me. It's just like, looking at like great people that just have great causes and unifying causes too.
Right.
I mean, I want to briefly touch on the recent protests right now and things turning violent. And I just want to say, like, hey, we can make these protests peacefully. We can have our beliefs and state it with the right, but we never need to turn into violence and hurting others. I think that's kind of those things where all those great leaders, world leaders, have helped me. Like,
right. Yeah. Thank you for that, because that's on everybody's mind right now. What's going on? I turn on CNN, I'm like, oh my God, what's happening here? But I think from my perspective, we have to give people mental options. Sometimes even for anger, or for, so often we've all been taught a certain way to live, the respect or the disrespect. But I think sometimes we also have to if you can't get it from somebody else, then just read about the people like your grandfather. Read about people that have done so many powerful things and know how they maneuvered. Then you have those mental options when things come up. Oh, I don't have to retaliate like that, because really it's no good for anyone. So we have to always stay in peace. And you remember what Dr. King, Gandhi, everybody has said, peacefulness is where we all want to go. But I also, listening to you speak, Dr. Tran, a lot of people say, well, how do I find my purpose in life? How do I find my purpose? And I think my perspective is, if you follow your passion, then you will find your purpose. What do you feel about that?
I 100% agree. Okay. Kim, like, life, there is no purpose to life to me. There's just life, and then you live it in totality. You live it with, just passion, and you live it with, doing just like what we were talking about, just courageous things that you're really, love. And so when you share that, with others, I think, that's where you end up with a purpose.
Right.
Whatever it is. It could be, writing a book or any type of need for the world.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So if you have a passion for painting, paint, because that might lead you to architecture. If you have a passion for gardening, then plant and nurture, and then that might, you might own a grocery store one day. So all of these. So when you follow your passion, it will lead to purpose. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think when I was growing up and we finally came to America, which is my name.
Yes,
which is my parents were longing to come to America.
Yes.
They wanted us to be doctors and help people because that's what they knew. They kind of helped me look at humanity as we're just servants to help. And so, and of course when you're young, you're like, I don't want, your parents tell you, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, of course they do the opposite. Yeah.
But you end up like, wow, when I finally, was able to treat my patient and they were so happy and grateful, like that type of reward is beyond any kind of financial means. It's
huge.
It's just a lasting feeling that just it stays with you.
Right.
And you keep wanting more of it.
Right. Listen, we want you to join the club, the silverstateclub.com, or you can give them a call, 702-780-0232. That's 702-780-0232. Give them a call today. Get right in. And I love the fact if you call and you have an issue, your tooth hurt or it's about to hurt, you hear a ringing. Don't wait. You can get right in. That's really great because so often you go on these lists and you can't get in to see the doctor, but not at silverstateclub.com, not at Silver State Smiles or Forever Smile. This is all of the different practices that you have. Also in Henderson for pediatric.
Yes.
So it's really, really wonderful what you're contributing to in this whole state of Nevada, as well as to business in general, Dr. Tran.
Well, I want to touch on kids because to me, kids, a lot of parents end up taking their kids too late, and like I said, we take them as soon as you start to see little budding teeth in there. You just want to get them familiar, comfortable with you in their mouths, because when they have that fear of then it's really difficult to work with the kids. So for us, bring them in young, bring them so that way we are able to just get them comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And then have them, my dad always joked that when I was little, he would do the opposite. He won't even brush my teeth. And I would have to go and chase him down. I said, brush my teeth, Dad. I need to go to bed, brush my teeth. And so kids, make it like a game, make it fun for them. So.
Okay, I love it. And so often, because when I had my children and they were little, I knew, I have to go in and get this shot, I have to go in and get that shot, I have to do this, I have to do, but I really did not think about their teeth. I didn't. I looked at it as a separate entity, and I think we can't do that.
Yeah.
We have, just how you go in to go, even for women, when we go in to get our checkups and we do, then say, oh, did I go to the dentist today? Did I go get my teeth checked out? Because again, it's all encompassing. It's all your health. So we want to make sure that it's A1 and you're A1. Again, give them a call today, 702-780-0232, thesilverstateclub.com, Forever Smile. Dr. Tran, you give so much knowledge and so much love in all that you do here in Nevada, and I want to thank you once again. But I really, anything on the top of your mind that you're thinking about right now that you want to say before we sign off?
I was just thinking about how when you were starting in Las Vegas and for me, I started in 2008 and the city has grown tremendously. And it's just expanding and expanding. And I think, for us being such a big city, for what we do, as far as the environmental purposes goes, I just want us to kind of be more recognizant of our environmental impact now. So that's what I was on the top of my mind thinking as the city is growing.
Right.
Yeah.
And shake a hand, make a friend, smile. We got to smile at each other and embrace each other, because that's really what it's all about. And again, don't be scared. Just smile. If you are, go and call today, Silver State Club, Silver State Smiles Club, 702-780-0232. Thank you, Dr. Tran, so much for being on
Thanks for
Enterprise.
having me.
Yes, of course. You're my co-pilot. I love it. And thank you again for being our sponsor of Enterprising People. And we want to give our sponsors another shout out. SilverStateClub.com, Las Vegas Clark County Library District, Southern Nevada Water Authority, Black Image Magazine, Power 88 KCEP, and you too for being Enterprising People.